I'm Linda, your accounting coach. Today, I want to talk about looking at numbers from a different view. So, you may have heard me say this a million times already, but our numbers tell a story. When I say numbers, our financial numbers. Former manager Fred used to always say that during financial review meetings or budget meetings. Numbers tell a story. So we have to understand the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet. I call those like the roll up finance. Those are the roll ups. So that gives you the total overall view of the business. Now, in order to know what's driving those numbers, what are composing those numbers, why those numbers are what they are, I call you have to peel back the onion. So you actually have to pull up that profit and loss statement and actually look at other additional financial reports. So I know a lot of times we're always talking about the financial statements, profit and loss statement, balance sheet, cash flow. However, if you look at large corporations or what I consider like larger small businesses, they are managing their finances by looking at additional reports on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. So I want to give you a couple reports that you should be looking at along with your profit and loss statement and your balance sheet. Number one, we've already talked about this report a couple weeks ago. Looking at your sales report by client, by item, by product, by service, whatever the case may be, looking at that sales report. So I won't go much into detail about that one because we've already done that a couple weeks ago. Number two, looking at your expenses by vendor, looking at your expenses by item, looking at your expenses by grant, and looking at your expenses by project. So you may ask yourself, where do I find those reports? If you're using QuickBooks, Xero, or any other accounting software, those reports are already there for you. Usually you can just go under vendor, under projects, and pull up those reports. So once again, looking at expenses by a different angle. So by vendor, by item, by grant, by project, because this will allow you to pinpoint what's driving expenses. Is it a particular vendor? Is it a particular item? Why is it a particular item? Maybe the price went up. Maybe you changed vendors. Maybe there was a demand for a particular product. Whatever the case may be, looking at those type of reports, very beneficial. Lastly, if you're using Shopify, let's say PayPal, Square, look at those reports because they actually will provide you sales reports that will actually detail what items are being sold and then also the fees that they're charging you. So when you're looking at this report, you're looking for particular for a trend. Is there a particular item that's being sold more during a particular day of the week, during a particular season, whatever the case may be? So definitely look at those reports. I know a lot of times people sign up for those particular programs and they're just happy that someone can go buy their product, but then they don't look at those reports. Look at those reports, see what's being sold, and asking yourself why, and then also what items are generating the most revenue. And then lastly, you may say to yourself, well, I don't use any accounting software. I don't use QuickBooks. I don't use Xero. I don't use Zoho, whatever the case may be. You know what? Go old school. Look at your bank statements. Start looking at if you I know one person, they write everything in their notebook. So start looking at your numbers. So pull out your bank statements, pull out your Excel spreadsheet, and start looking at your sales. Who's buying? Is a particular client? Looking at your expenses. Are you spending money with a particular vendor? Also with your expenses, are you spending on a particular item and why? So once again, if you're not using accounting software, just go old school, look at your receipts and look at your bank statements. So I challenge you this month to choose to look at your expenses by vendor report. Usually, looking at this report is very eye-opening because we don't realize how much money we spend with particular vendors. So, once again, this report is called Expenses by Vendor. So, I challenge you this month for 30 days to review that expense by vendor report each week. So, we have to remember in order to plan, we have to look back. So we know, hopefully we know when we're budgeting or forecasting, we always have to look back. We always have to go back and see what happened. See what happened. So when you're doing this with these numbers are not only helping you right now, but they'll help you in the future. They help you plan. So let's be proactive instead of reactive. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Take care.